Merry meet everyone, and welcome to the AstroTarot Show. I'm your celestial host, Serona Rose, and I cannot wait to talk about the energies and aspects that our planetary relations are offering to us at this time. So, if you haven't heard of my show, this is where I take us through a walk of what is going on celestially in our heavens, and then I will do a tarot reading to kind of put all of this energy together, all of this information together, and give it to you in a reading form. So, first, I am going to say thank you so much for watching, and please make sure you let everyone know about this show, and everybody can get on board here at fringetv.online. Now, before we begin with this first week coming up, I'm going to talk about our last new moon. It was in Leo, and it was on the 28th of July. And it was very bold energy. Now, our new moons are when we want to go inside, right? It's in the darkness. But here, Leo was awakening us to our self-worth, and he wants us to stand in our own power and to allow ourselves to be guided by our own light. Okay, he wants us to shine that light within and follow that. He wants us to do what is best for us. So this energy, it connects us to our solar plexus, and that is our willpower, our individualization. And at this time you could have possibly took a little leap on something, a risk. Maybe you're doing something new that can show off your gifts. So this is really in good energy for those of us who have our gifts inside that are just a little afraid to have them come out and introduce them to everyone, because that is a vulnerable position for people when we share our gifts with the world, right? But Leo says, you know what? You're strong. You have a wonderful gift. Stand in your power and serve the community and share your gifts with others. Now, this new moon, it trined Jupiter in Aries, and that was really about expressing ourselves and discovering more truths about yourself. Jupiter in Aries is all about it's expansive energy, because Aries is like an ignition type of energy. It's that spark, and Jupiter just wants to expand. It loves to grow, but it's a truth seeker too. It wants the truth, and it's going to have you dig into the truth of yourself. When we are, he wants us to move on to a different part of ourself as well. So here, change. And, Jupiter wants to evolve and wants to grow and expand. And when we're here, this placement can bring opportunities to us that may not have been there before. It'll bring forth opportunities to allow us to move forward. And with this connected to our new moon in Leo, it is definitely wanting us to move forward with shining our light within. So it is a time for growth, and that's what new moons are. It starts a new moon cycle, new moons, and it is, what do you want? That's what you can ask yourself. What do you want? And then you got to know what you're wanting to do next, right? So with that moon, we also had Mercury squaring Uranus, the North Node, and Mars in Taurus. And that could be surprising energy. That could be very unexpected news coming to you, and that may help you make a decision. If you were on that crossroads of making a decision, that could really help you to do that. But what I really want to reiterate here is, Leo is about the heart too, and some of the things that we do don't necessarily have our heart in them. in our world today, it's very technical, especially with our communication. We do a lot of communication through social media and platforms like this. And it's very important that we, when we do things, we include our heart. That is so important to us, and that is really going to matter. Now, on the 8th, we are going to have the Lion's Gate, and this is big galactic energy. This is connecting us with Palladian energy, and they're going to have a nice Palladian lineup. Now, the ancient Egyptians looked to the Pleiades as a place where the humans came from. And they were really about looking at the skies in late July and August, because this is when lineups normally happened this time of year. They believed that the stars and the cosmic energy were communications from the gods. So they believed that these energies were alive and that they were active, and they were always speaking to us. So they paid extra attention to the patterns, to the that occurred throughout the seasons. Those were very important to them. They used them to foresee the future as well, because it prepared them. And anyone, when you're looking at astrology, if you're looking at the energetic lineup, you can see what is going to transpire, what energy is unfolding from that. So they also looked at eclipses. Eclipses were very important. What was happening during this eclipse? Where were these planets? And as well as the energy that they were feeling. They looked at Mars, and they looked at other observations that could help them prepare for what might be coming. That's why I really don't understand a lot of people who don't get astrology, because it really speaks to us in so many different ways. Now, we have to look at our relationship with our heavens. We really do. We stay inside a lot. We don't go out much, especially down here in the South. It gets really hot, but it's so important to go out and to look at our skies and to connect with that. This portal has multiple meanings. The number 8 is connected to the infinity sign. It's about abundance, and it's about the circulation of energy. So this energy is going to speak to us subconsciously. So on the 8th, it's going to be so important for us to meditate, to be conscious and be present, and look at how we are using our power. Are we using our power for good? Is it going to benefit us for the highest good in the long run, or is it not? Are we pouring our energy into something that's draining us, that's really going nowhere? Again, stand in your power. Stand in your power. The 3 stars of Orion's belt, those are fixed stars, and they are in alignment with the pyramids in Giza. So again, the Egyptian believed that their DNA was connected to Sirius, so that is where they feel that when the pharaoh died, that he would be returned to Sirius. And this is, to them, again, this is where the human race originated. And these energies at this time can help us tap into our memories. I also want to say that the Celts believed they were very connected to the Pleiades, and around Samhain, they believed that this is when Erenrod would come in on her boat and take the souls back to where they came from, to Summerlin. So we have to really understand things with divine timing as well, as there's a lot of things that's been happening, but we are seeing more and more people awaken to these different energies and to different thought concepts. We are seeing more of that Aquarian age unfolding, and this is where we would have to really understand that our where we are now is from the decisions that were made. The important thing to get is that, we believe in reincarnation. We are our ancestors. We are the ancient astrologers. We are those philosophers. We are those people who did make those mistakes back in those times, and we need to learn from them. We need to grow from them. We need to we need to remember what not to do, right? We are opening up to bigger picture of our existence at this time, and we had to be at a certain frequency so that we can receive this information. If you do not know how to read a birth chart, me giving you one is not going to do you any good because you don't know how to read it. And that's the same concept. If you do not know what to do with what is going on, it's useless for you to have it. So 8-8 is an activation to a cosmic energy, and it is expansive energy, and it's really wanting us to go forward, to make a galactic leap, so to speak. As the Leo sun moves forward, it will activate the Palladian energy at 25, 26, and 27 degrees of Leo. Now remember, Leo is a fixed sign. So this is opening us up to how we are evolving and making the most of our human experience. It's opening us up to higher consciousness. Palladian energy wants us to be in our own power, to stand tall in our sovereignty. And there's a word that we don't hear a lot, and it seems that it's lost. Sovereignty is so important for us. It was so important for our ancestors. Their sovereignty to pick and choose what is best for them and what is not the best thing for them. And, having this human experience, it does take a lot of courage because, Earth is a unique place. We have things here on Earth that are not available in other planets. So it's very important that we connect with our Earth as well. Astrology has been urging us to deprogram ourselves, to come out of the program from the past of what we were told we were supposed to do, and to open up to what is the best path for us to do. Some people were pushed into jobs that they don't like. Well, you can change that. This is about, loving who you are, shining your love and shining your light and living out loud, so to speak. Now, when we look at all of these different aspects, there is one that I really want to talk about, and that is the Uranus conjunction with the North Node as well as Mars. These are very important because this can cause a lot of shaking energy. It can cause a lot of angst, and I want to go back here and talk more about this alignment because it's so important when we do. The last time that Uranus was in Taurus was in 1934 through 1942. And if you know, there's a lot of stuff that happened then. So we can look back at that time and see where we have changed. Well, at that time, that is when frozen foods came on the market. That is also when World War II kicked in. Excuse me. Now, I will say on August the 24th, Uranus will go retrograde and will go back to 14 degrees of Taurus. So by late April and May, Uranus will be back at 18 degrees Taurus. And I want to talk about 18 degrees Taurus really quick. 18 degrees Taurus, the Sabian symbol, is a woman airing an old bag through a sunny window to give it air and sunshine. So this could be a part of something inner of us bringing it out in the open and give it life again, to breathe life back into it, to give it the sun. You know, the sun is, it makes our planet grow. The sun is so important in so many ways. Now, with that, I want to talk about the number 18. The number 1 represents in the tarot the magician, and that is self-consciousness. He is the Magnus of power. The number 8 is strength, and that's about harmonizing our inner tendencies. You know, this is the strength card. So this is about harmonizing our animal and our human. And there's the infinity sign. It's about making that synergy, making that harmonic vibration work. So 1 + 8 = 9, which is temperance. And temperance is the alchemical transformation. Temperance is that where it is all about divine timing. It is also one where anything with water on it, when you have a card with water, it is about self-reflection. And if you'll see here, she's got 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot in the water. And she reminds us that we have to keep 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in the other. And we have to keep that balance as well. Again, this is transformation. And when we transform from the inside out. It's just not, oh, well, I'm here. No, every part of you changes. Everything. Now, Mars is the Tower card, and this is the number 16, and this is about facing, this is about victory over the ego. And here you see the head. To me, this is always Uranus striking off the crown. So this could be something shocking that comes about to where it changes your whole ideals or your whole thought process, a new perspective. The number 6, in the Tower card, the number 1, of course, is the Magician, the Magnus of power. And then we have the number 6, which is the Lover's card, which is about discernment. And in the Lover's card, and I don't have that in front of me, I do apologize. The Lover's card is about the masculine, and which is the consciousness, and he is looking at the feminine, which is the unconsciousness, and she is looking at the angel above, which is the higher, which is divinity, the higher self, which is that higher consciousness. So we always have to be connected to that. Our masculine and our feminine, our consciousness and our subconscious must be working in a harmonic rotation, a flow, and connected to the higher consciousness as well, in order for us to have that growth. This is revolutionary energy. This is awakening, and this is very much about the Aquarian the Aquarian age. Now, on the 2nd of August, Venus in Cancer sextiled Uranus in Taurus, as well as Mars and the North Node. And on that same day, the moon entered Libra. And then the next day on the 3rd, Venus in Cancer squares the moon in Libra. So this is reminding us to trust in ourselves, to listen to our body, to balance our emotions. We're seeing a lot of people leading themselves by their emotions, and you should not do that. You need to balance those elements within you. Libra is about our relationships, so those will be highlighted, and those are all of them, not just romantic, all relationships. We are understanding how important our relationships are. And they are detrimental for us living, because humans are meant to be in relation. And this is when you are friends, or when you are working with those people that support you, that support what you're doing, you're going to do better, versus being with those people who don't understand what you're doing and just see that you're just wasting time. You're just doing this, you're doing that. you need to be with those people who see that inner light and see how you want to shine it and support that. That is so important. And we are also needing to see what works with us and what doesn't. Again, we are looking at the energy. And that is so very important because as this cosmic energy is activated, it's going to expand, and it's going to mess in the other aspects of our life. Now, I want to talk about what is coming up. We have a full moon in Aquarius on August the 11th at 9:36 p.m. And this could be on the 12th for others that are not within the Eastern, that are in a different time zone. Please understand that all times I mention are in an Eastern time zone, so you will have to adjust for your time zone. And then on that day, Venus will move into Leo. Oh, wow. That is some really good energy, and she'll do that at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So this is the last supermoon of the year, so take advantage. There are many timelines we are experiencing right now, and with Uranus and Taurus and the conjunction with Mars and the North Node, we can experience more earthquakes and more earth disruptions. When Uranus is in Taurus, it doesn't just affect our stability, it affects all the material. It affects money, food, all the above, everything, our material world. Now, the triple conjunction of Uranus, the North Node, and Mars in Taurus is an ignition type of energy, and this energy will be moving very fast. So September, October, November, and December of this year is going to be big months energetically. And this is for the world. This isn't just for the United States. This is for the world. And if you haven't been paying attention, our world right now, there are protests going on globally, and it has to do with food, it has to do with land. That's very important. These things do have a purpose in our life. They may be tragic, and they may impact us in many ways, but we can't attach to them. We have to not get sucked into that drama and chaos. We have to understand that we are evolving very quickly right now, and we are opening up to more consciousness. The Earth is moving through the Photon Belt, so and that happens every 1,200 years or so, approximately. So this is some high frequency energy that we're going through. And this, at this time, this is when the lower energy falls away. And this is where we connect to physics, because if you are coming into higher energy, that lower energy is not going to be able to stay. So we will be going from victimhood to self-empowerment. We are going to come out of that fog and that haze, that illusion that pulls us in. And this is collectively, and Uranus is giving us that quantum jump that we need in understanding the frequency and kind of getting with it. So again, this is higher mind energy. Let's see, Uranus will be in Taurus until 2026. So we have a lot of time to go for all of this, the shakeup of the old, the tangible, all of that. And this is where we, it's going to shake up that density. So that has a higher value. We will keep, and the rest is going to fall away. So keeping up with the Joneses, those people that, living in our higher material world, always wanting to, oh, I got to have that big house. I got to have that great car. That is something of the past. We're opening up to more of community. We are opening up to more of simplicity in our life. We don't want the drama. We don't want that chaos. We understand that we are all here together. And that's what Aquarius reminds us, is that we're all here together. And, we may be separate, and we all have our individual gifts that we should share with the world. And we are all here for that reason, and we should shine that light. Communities work when everybody pulls their own weight, and when everybody is giving, is shining their own light, and giving their gifts. So we're bringing in our ability to share, and we're coming together with other people and like mine. The conjunction is the stage for the final exact square between Saturn and Uranus. Now this is the last square here that will be on October the 1st of this year, and that will be Saturn will be at 18 degrees Aquarius, and Uranus will be at 18 degrees of Taurus. So that will influence us for the rest of the year. We got to think about Saturn. Saturn is about boundaries, and it's about the past, and it's about control and rule and regulation. And Saturn is about centralization, where Uranus is opposite. Uranus is about decentralization. Uranus is about freedom and liberation. And Uranus is about the future. So Uranus, look at our gas prices. Uranus is cutting off natural resources, and that is Taurus right there. So again, radical changes. We have Eris, which is an asteroid, is an Aries, been there for 3 years. So with Pluto and Capricorn, and Eris and Aries, this is street fighter kind of energy. This is fighting against elitism and fighting against the injustice, laws for thee and not for me. This is the separation of we're better than you and you just have to settle. That's not really good. Pluto and Capricorn, the United States is having their Pluto return. So this is about the those places of power breaking down, and we're seeing that. Pluto and Capricorn is about control over the masses, and it's about power of the state. But then we have Saturn, and we have Uranus in Aquarius, and then we're going to look at individual human rights. So, and some of these things are at a boiling point. Now, through the 5th through the 7th, the moon is going to oppose Uranus and Mars, so we can experience some angst. The 7th Mars squares Saturn, and this can be a reality check. This can wake us up. But this is good because it teaches us it shows us where we need to focus. It reminds us that we need focus, 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 focus. We have 6 planets in fixed signs, and that is, we have the sun in Leo, the moon and Saturn in Aquarius, Venus in Leo, Uranus and Mars in Taurus. So, and that's when I'm doing this. So, and that's for that is for the full moon. So in that lineup, we see that it's forming a grand cross, and this is a fixed grand cross. So it is shining light on Saturn in the Uranus square. So this is about determination and great focus, but again, control. control, and we have to pay attention to that. We have to pay attention because there's opposing views that can be very magnified at this time. Mercury and Virgo represents brilliant ideas. This could be connecting us to the agriculture because of Virgo. That connects us to the agriculture systems. And this is about working in a practical way. Virgo is an earth sign, wants to work in practical ways. The full moon will conjunct Saturn, and that can make us have a little bit of a depression, but this is good for building new things because it's kind of like we see an end here and we're not really sure. Again, focus. We have to bring ourselves out of that and focus. To build new things such as community systems and networks and those things that will last for the long run. That is important. That's going to be practical, last for the long run, be realistic, and be sustainable. This is pointing for power for the people. Again, locally, we're going to have a lot of chaos and a lot of drama going on. Don't be sucked into that. Remember, that is a lower vibration. Be of the world, but not in it. That is more than what meets the eye there. We need to stop living from the outside in and learn how to live from the inside out. This is the point. Also, all of this stress and stuff, when you find yourself in that point of just, stressed out and everything, start doing some deep breathing. Breath is the most important thing. This is the fire of creation. And when we breathe in for 4 and out for 4, it lowers our cortisol, it's stress reducing, it improves our immune system. And people tell me all the time they can't meditate. Okay, if you can't meditate, then start counting your breaths. In for 4 and out for 4. When you're concentrating on your breath, you can't think about anything else. But if those thoughts come to you while you're trying to meditate, allow them. Allow them in, see them, and set them free. You have to learn how to do this. Focusing on the breath, it brings us an anchoring feeling. So it brings us peace and to a sacred presence. And if you notice people who meditate and people who actively meditate, I should say, and breathe, they're centered. They're centered in their power. So this is very important in centering yourself, and this helps you bring you back to your power. So remember, it's a state of being. We have to be here. We didn't come here to wake up in the morning to go to a 9-to-5 job or 8-to-5 job and come home, eat dinner, go to bed, and start over. No, we came here to have a human experience. And while that may be part of it, that is the illusion. We are here to co-create. And when we are meditating, when we take that time to connect to divine energy, okay, when we allow this to happen, we can focus on creation and co-create. What do we need to do to build a better world? So on the 9th, Venus will move, Venus in Cancer will oppose Pluto in Capricorn. So this can be an emotional cleansing. So be careful, because this is going to hit all relations, all of our relationships, whether it's romantic or business, whatever. It'll be an emotional purging. You will be releasing some of these relationships. You're also going to be releasing guilt that you may be feeling. You're going to forgive yourself, forgive others. And it's not going to be an easy process. This is not, being a human is not an easy process. But it will be tense. There's going to be a lot of tense energy there. So remember, breathe. And this tension, it needs to be released. So be careful how you do that. You want to do that in productive ways and not counterproductive ways. There's also been an airing out as well. So and that's with close relations. So be mindful of what and where you share information. Remember, discernment. People talk and say stuff in places that they shouldn't, and it's disrespectful for other people to not practice those boundaries. So this could also be something hidden coming out. Venus in Cancer brings the phase of the mother and maiden aspect into light here. This is like the mother and the maiden going into the underworld. So this can be initiation type energy. This is also, it can be a shadow. It's like the shadow is being violated kind of energy. This can be about boundaries and about being respectful. What is respectful, what's not. Looking at what is good for the feminine and what is not. With this energy, we're looking at what we should, and I hate to say we should do that because it puts us in this category, but we really need to look at things and what's going on right now and to see what we need to be mindful of and what we need to be conscious of and what we need to be concerned about and not be concerned about. Practicality is heightened with this moon. So we need to look at with what is practical versus, and we also need to look at what we feel versus what is right and what is of the highest good. Just because something looks good doesn't mean it is. And that's one of the things that we get reminded of in our illusion here on Earth is that, we see Hollywood, we see that illusion, but that's just the illusion. That's not reality. Reality is our everyday concept. It's the people we live next to. It's how we consciously connect to the divine energy. This time can be, the shadow aspect of this, it can be very manipulative. So we have to be careful of other people's agendas and, and what is motivating others. If someone is wanting to work with us, why? What is their motivation? What is their agenda? We need to pay attention to that. Stand in your own power. That's going to be very important for this this full moon coming up in Aquarius. Please stand in your power. Announce your sovereignty. Admit what you love. That's okay. What is it? The saying? There's an old saying, and I can't remember where it comes from, but it's oppression accomplishes nothing. Remember that. Oppression accomplishes nothing. So be present in who we are, and we can't get so involved in what's going on outside of us. If we start within, we're always told to be the change, right? Be the change. Change starts within, and it does. It surely does. So that is it for the astrology part of the show. I hope you enjoyed that. Please stay tuned for the tarot reading. It will be next, and we will see what the cards have to say. I'll also pull a couple of the oracle cards and see what advice they have to share with us. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you next week. Blessings, everyone.